Testing 1, 2.
Are we good?
I guess testing 1, 2.
Alright, I'm gonna get in.
Your father wanted me to relay that message to you.
I got you. I'll be listening.
Okay, you be listening. I just think it's quite loud enough either. Okay. But you know me and your dad, we get loud.
I'm ready. You're on, Stanley. We used to have a band down in Oklahoma City that played every Thursday night down close to the university. And it was a very loose band. And in that band, we had 3 rules that you had to follow to be in that band. You had to follow the 3 rules. Rule number 1 is that only one person in the band had to actually know the song. Rule number 2 was you didn't have to know which person it was. And of course, rule number 3 came from Barney Fife, and it was obey all rules. This band is kind of like that band here tonight.
It's a Duke's mixture. Duke's mixture from almost to North Carolina, within 2 or 3 miles of the state line. And Roanoke, a little bit of South Carolina. Speaking of that, we're glad to be here tonight, and I guess no way we can make up for the 2 years we lost of COVID coming here, but we're going to try to pick a little for you now. Hope that you enjoy it. I'll try to introduce a couple of these guys, and Marvin, he can do the rest. Only guy on the fiddle over here, I've known him many, many years. Don't make us old, we just knew each other when we was real little. He makes his home down in Casey, South Carolina, and that's right out of Columbia. And plays about anything you hand him, guitar, fiddle, mandolin, he can glad do it to it and tear it up. And he's Marvin's son, and it's a real pleasure to get to play with Danny Harlow.
Oh boy, yes sir.
Gentleman on the mountain here, he and I started playing with his father in 1958, Clinton King. Clinton had a band for about 12 years at the time, him and his brother, and they kind of went their separate ways after that, and in 58 I joined Clinton, and Clinton died in 2003. But Stan came in 66 and started playing with us on the mandolin, and our mandolin player moved away out of state. And he's been playing mandolin with us ever since. Sings good baritone, and just one of the finest guys you'd ever want to meet.
Amen.
Stan King on the mountain. And the guy on the bass back here, he plays good bass, good fellow, good man to have all around in the band. He can do about any part of a band, from booking it to emceeing it to playing bass. And
he's a musicologist.
he's a musicologist. That's one of them 50 Cent words, Jerry.
Yeah.
If you won't know who sung it or wrote it, just ask Jerry.
He's a walking encyclopedia on it.
There you go.
Lives up in Salem, Virginia now, Mr. Jerry Steinberg.
Let me tell you something about Jerry. He came up here years ago, and he had quite an experience. Not only did he not make any money, but he lost his coat. But whoever took it was nice they left theirs. So anyway, that's Jerry, and he's just been introduced. And this fella here, I want to tell you about him. You know, good friends, there's nothing in the world like them. You just, no matter how much money you got, there's nothing as good as good friends. And as some of you know, I haven't been feeling really good, and I really need somebody to help out on this. And he lives a long ways, but he's such a good musician, and I want him to come, but I hated to ask him. But when I called him, you know, no problem, he'll be here. He actually came up and practiced with us one time, and he's just the greatest. And make him welcome, Mark Hudson. He's a fine musician and a good singer, as you'll find out. This old man over here in the banjo, man's been beating around for many years. How long, I don't know. How long we've been picking together?
About 22 years.
Seems like it's that long. Anyway, the first time I met him, I've told you this before, when I first came to Roanoke, I'd never got to see Reno and Spivey. And I loved their music, and I had some of their records, and they're going to be at Crossroads Ball. Well, I couldn't wait to get up there to see them. And when I got there, Red was sick, and he wasn't performing that day, and Larry was picking the banjo, and Reno was playing the guitar. So if you know anything about banjo picking, you better be pretty good if you go play for Don Reno. So, this is Larry Howell. Now, we're going to do something for you now. It's kind of...
This gentleman over here on the guitar, as he said earlier, he called me, and I came up for practice, and I know it don't show on my part. I did come and practice with him, but I'm tickled to death to be here today, but more especially, I'm tickled to death to be able to celebrate this gentleman's birthday.
What is it?
29 again. And I came up here probably 10 years ago, and he was 29 then. I can't quite do the math on that, but he's 29 years old again. And holding.
I've gained a little.
Tell you what, y'all help me out if you would. Mr. Marvin Harlow, let's sing it for him. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marvin. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. I believe some of y'all ought to be up here and we need to be back there.
And they didn't come to the practice.
Anyway, we're going to do a little thing here for Mr. Monroe. You know, some of you may and some of you may not know, the bluegrass music we know today was actually put together by one man. Don't let anybody kid you. He's the fellow that put it together the first time. He had Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs and Chubby Wise and Cedric Rainwater. That was the band. And they called that the Big Bang in bluegrass, and it was the best band I guess has ever been as far as just good singing and picking. And when you hear a pretty fiddle today played that long bow playing the tune, that's something that Monroe brought along with him. Of course, it was Chubby Wise playing the fiddle, but Monroe showed him how he wanted it played. Same way with the mandolin. The mandolin, had nobody ever put mandolin in bluegrass. And of course, he made it famous. He sold more Gibson mandolins, I'm sure, than anybody in the country. And then, you know, the banjo, of course, Earl Scruggs, I'll tell you about Earl. He became world famous, and that was the first band. So we want to do a little tribute. We're going to do the first one is the one he wrote about his Uncle Penn. He lived with him, you know, for several years after his mom and daddy died. And that's where he learned to play, was from Uncle Penn. That's where he got his good rhythm, that fast rhythm he could play like nobody else. And then we're going to do one that somebody wrote a tribute to Bill. It's called The Big Man from Rosine, because he was from Rosine, Kentucky. That's where he was born and raised. And then we're going to finish up with Bluegrass Breakdown. So all three of these are Monroe tunes. So we'll start off here with Uncle Penn. And wait just a minute now, don't you get too fast.
Yeah, we did practice that just a few minutes ago. I'll see.
It's got a mean guitar lick. Not many people can get it, but this boy can. And I'm not talking about me.
You said Monroe started bluegrass. Roger Handy's sitting right here looking at me, which pressure's on me. Because when I was a kid, I thought the Lost and Found was the only bluegrass band there was. So,
Well, they were good.
but, so then I found out later who Bill Monroe was, and I told Alan Mills one time, Roger, I said, I knew who the Lost and Found was before I knew who Bill Monroe and Fred Scruggs were. He said, what kind of rock was you living under? And a holler and a dusty dove, and you want to be was ready to go. Late evening, about sitting down round the hill above the town. Oh, play the fiddle, Lord, how it ring. You hear it talk, you hear it sing. Soldiers join, another one called the Boston Boy, and the greatest of all was Jenny Lynn. To me, that's where fiddling began. Late in the evening, about sundown, high on the hill in the butt of town, I played the fiddle, Lord, how it rang. You heard it talk, you heard it sing. Forget that mournful day when Uncle Pim was called away. They hung up his fiddle and they hung up his bow. They knew it was time for him to go. Late in the evening, about sundown, high on the hill in the butt of town, Uncle Pim played a fiddle, Lord, how it rang. You could hear it talk, you could hear it sing.
She was talking about the fiddle.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I'm gonna tell y'all one little story before we get into this. It wouldn't be right if I didn't tell you a story. This man and woman, their whole lives as they lived together, they argued over, she believed in reincarnation, and he didn't believe in it. He believed in reincarnation, and she didn't. She believed in the spiritual life, like we all do, mostly, you know. And they argued about that thing the whole time they were married. Well, he finally passed away. Well, you know, she believed in having these seances, you know, where you can call up people who've been dead for years. So she tried every night, you know, to try to call him up, and she couldn't get him. And finally one night about midnight, he come in real clear. And she was tickled to death because she saw she'd done proved her point. She said, well, how you doing? He said, well, I'm in the most beautiful place you could ever imagine in this world. He said, the grass is green as far as you can see. And he said, the water's so clear. He said, you can see the fish swimming down in the water. And he said, biggest, bluest sky you've ever seen. He said, just huge sky and just as blue. And said, all kind of willing young things with big brown eyes. And she said, well, that don't sound like heaven to me. He said, I'm not in heaven. She said, well, where are you? He said, I'm a bull in Montana. Big man from Rosine. Stanley, can you jiggle it? In a mantle of
capo readjusted that. Mostly in G. I'll give us just a minute here while we resituate the chords and capos.
I would like to do this song tonight. A good friend of mine from years ago wrote this somewhere in the mid-50s. His name was Bill Reed. Bill Reed was a bluegrass DJ and musician, had his own band back in the 50s, and him and his wife, Mary Reed, and Melody Mountaineers. And Bill wrote this. They recorded it at the time with his band, and it did pretty well for him. And it went forever and ever, and it didn't, I didn't hear anybody record it, so we recorded it one day, probably 4 decades after they did, and but it's a real good song, and we'll try to do it. And my wife's with us tonight, visiting. She has to have a real serious spine surgery Monday, so I'll ask everybody if you would say a prayer for her. Her name is Carlene, Carlene, and Hall, and so we're pretty worried and on edge about that.
I'm not worried.
And I know you got the Lord on your side. I know. If you didn't have that, I would be. But you know how that goes. And so say a little prayer for her tonight, if you would. We'll try this one. I don't know what it is, but after I come up the mountain for the last 3 or 4 times here lately, my left ear totally stops up, but it's like it's stopped up, but I can't hear anything out of it, but yet the sound of what I'm saying is coming out of it. And that happened in the middle of that last tune. I'm not making excuses for my mistake. Right now I'm talking, it's like I'm talking, but I'm not. I'm hearing it, but I'm not, because it's coming out my ear and not my mouth, and I know that sounds stupid. But I'm gonna have to have a doctor
Called
look
old
at it.
age.
I don't think so.
Old age.
I don't think so. We'll try this one called Sweet Loving Man. Can I be dreaming? Can it be real? Just can't explain and can't understand. Ever since the time that you smiled at me, I wanted to be your sweet loving man. I wanna kiss your sweet ruby lips. I wanna hold your lily white hand. Darling, can't you see you're the one for me? I wanna be your sweet loving man. Boy, ask your mama if you can go tonight. A big yellow moon is shining so bright. We'll turn the moon, talk about our plans. I wanna be your sweet loving man. I wanna kiss your sweet ruby lips. I wanna hold your lily white hand. Darling, can't you see you're the one for me? I wanna be your sweet loving man. I wanna kiss your sweet ruby lips. I wanna hold your lily white hand. Darling, can't you see that you're the one for me? I wanna be your sweet loving man. I wanna be your sweet loving man.
We want to do this next song for our pastor Bill. He likes this song, so he asked me to sing at his funeral. I said, well, you'll probably be singing at my funeral first. But anyway, I think we got it worked out. It's called Angel Band, and Mr. Stanley,
Yes, sir.
you make it sound like the old brother wore out thou, the last thing on the show.
Very My latest sun is sinking fast. My race is nearly run. My strongest trials now are past. My triumph has begun. Oh, come, angel band, coming around me stand. Oh, bear me away on your snow white way to my immortal home. Oh, bear me away on your snow white wing to my immortal home. Oh, bear my longing heart to him who bled your band come and around me stand. Oh, bear me away on your snow white wings to my immortal home. Oh, bear me away on your snow white wings to my immortal home. All right, I think we'll get Stan to come around and do a little mandolin picking for you. A little bit of the big country surprise.
Working me a lot tonight.
Yeah, it's your night, all right?
All right, let's see.
All right, here we go.
This song Mark's gonna sing for you, I want you to listen to the words really close. You know, women are the sweetest thing on this earth. If you ever get one mad and she turns against you, you got trouble, I tell you. And you listen to the words of this song, listen to how this woman treated this poor man. Blue, Virginia Blue.
This song here, the first word says, have you ever been to Richmond in November? Well, I think about a friend of mine I grew up, and he played music with me growing up, and he's now a truck driver. He said one cold November day, he was down in downtown Richmond making a delivery with a tractor and trailer. He said, every other street, has anybody in here been to downtown Richmond? No. Okay, it's terrible, right? Okay. Well, he said about every other street was a one-way. And he said, I got in downtown Richmond. And he said, tight streets with cars parked. He said, I went down a one-way street the wrong way. He said, I could see the highway where I needed to be, but I just couldn't get there. And he said, I was just about ready to cry. And he said, and all I could hear in the back of my mind was, have you ever been to Richmond in November? Here's Blue, Virginia Blue.
1, 2, 3.
no pleasure when you're all alone and a stranger to the town. Don't take me wrong, I do like East Virginia, and Richmond's full of hospitality, except for one Virginia girl I know of that made a perfect love ring out of me. And it's blue, blue, Virginia blue. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. There's no girl in the whole wide world that'll break your heart like Virginia girls. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. She called me up from St. Paul, Minnesota. Said, I need you here in Richmond right away. Take the bus and I'll meet you at the station. Bring some clothes, I might want you to stay. My bus pulled in the station late this evening. There ain't a soul around this place but me. She must have changed her mind or she's forgotten, and her name ain't in the phone directory. And it's blue, blue, Virginia blue. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. There's no girl in the whole wide world that'll break your heart like Virginia girls. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. I wish I had the money for a taxi and a warm and cozy place to lay me down, instead of standing all alone in Richmond while that cold Virginia rain is pouring down. And it's blue, blue, Virginia blue. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. There's no girl in the whole wide world that'll break your heart like Virginia girls. There ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue. Oh, there ain't no blue like blue, Virginia blue.
I told you he was good, didn't I?
They discontinued my guitar strings that I've been using for the last 15 years. So I bought a set of Eric Clapton strings. I'm hoping maybe that's going to help me out a little bit.
I'm gonna do hell of a business. Can't hear where you're walking.
What?
Yeah, you can do anything you want.
What?
Peaceful dreams, faded memories.
Oh.
Yeah.
Come on, Rod.
Come on, Rodney.
All right.
You want to play?
No. Okay.
Okay.
What you gonna do right here?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Unless you want this.
He wants to say he's son with Roger too. He wants to say he's son with Roger too.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
I sung with you a lot when I was probably 7, 8 years old. Learned to play guitar.
I'm sorry.
This is one of the original members of the Lost and Found.
Yeah.
And,
I was lost.
It was
Now you found
along with my good friend Dempsey Young, who passed away a long time ago, and old buddy Gene Park on the banjo. And they just were a great group, more Rocky Mountain. They were kind of our rivals, and once in a while, people would say we were there, but there was never any rivalship there. We all liked to love one another, and we loved what they did.
It's a family anyway.
It was,
All Bluegrass
that's
people.
right, exactly. But I always thought, and I've told him to his face more than once, I mean it, I mean it. I've always told him, I said, the best lead singer I lost and found ever had was you.
Well, thank
You
you.
was the first one, and I still think it today.
Thank you very much. You talk about, let me tell y'all a story. This is a true story. You talk about Richmond and one-way streets and all that. There's a guy who went to work for Thomas Freight Lines out of Martinsville. First trip he sent him on was Richmond, with a load of furniture. When he got back on one of them streets like the top one-way street, he couldn't get out. He just parked the truck and got him a bus home. He left it up there, so if y'all want it, y'all come get it. It's true, it's a true story.
Yeah, we'll turn it around. Yeah.
Once I stood among the timbers, rising high up to the sky. Now it's turned to stone and cinder. No one knows the reason why. Peaceful dreams, faded memories, many loved ones past and gone. Stories told too young by elders, fables wrote and turned to song. Lakes and streams once were many, deer and fowl were free to roam. Now it's gone, and there's no ending to the wrath that men's brought on. Peaceful dreams, faded memories, many loved ones past and gone. Stories told too young by elders, fables wrote and turned to song. Life was sweet, life was simple, never had to rush around. Now it's gone, there's no ending to the wrath that man's brought on. Peaceful dreams, faded memories, many loved ones past and gone. Stories told too young by elders, fables wrote and turned to song. Fables wrote and turned to song. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you. Roger. I appreciate that.
We're doing after I do this. Okay.
Thank you,
We're
Roger.
gonna end it. Yeah, we're gonna end it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. I'll send you a check.
See you, Roger. Thank you.
Blue Ridge Mountain Walls. We're gonna do one for you now. We're only gonna do this and one more and we're through. This is one that I wrote. And I like it a whole lot if I did write it. I think it got an old timey sound to it. You ready? You remember that quick D? Quick
If I
A?
don't, you got it, right?
This is called the Blue Ridge Mountain Waltz.
1, 2, 3, 2, 2.
The music of the mountain stream flows gently through his dream of his Blue Ridge Mountain home, so far away. Now he recalls a mountain girl, sweetest thing in all this world, when they danced to the Blue Ridge Mountain walls. Now he can smell that country ham. His mother's best is big and brown. See his daddy staring red beyond an old wood stove. He take his fiddle from the wall, waiting for his mother's call, and he play the pretty blues down the walls. Where's Daddy? I want you all to know that pretty sounding fiddle that Danny's playing over there is it's an Arthur Carter fiddle, made right here in Copper Hill. That's why it sounds so good. It's at home.
Arthur used to sit like right in there, you know. So,
We're gonna end this with we're gonna kind of show our bass player off back here. He's been raring to go.
Yeah.
He's kind of getting fidgety back here, so we're gonna let him pick a little bit, and then we're through and Alan will be on. So this is Jerry and everybody else. You, Mark, can take a break, and I'll keep staying if you can. And we'll
Get the other two. All right.
Go y'all back, go y'all be practicing back there. This next guy, he shows up every year. We try to keep him from coming to, I don't know where he's coming now. I know he's behind me. We got him a work release this time, so we're supposed to have him back Monday. So I gotta watch.
I think this is mine. I'm gonna claim it. How your ears have moved?
That's good.
Where's Hardy?
He's right here. Just stay calm.
You do a little carpet work?
Let's see. I guess.
Send me those two.
You gonna be over there? Well, Harvey,
Probably you hear me.
yeah, he's not singing, so he's gonna sing that
Stanley's
one.
playing. Stanley?
She's getting great tonight. He starts pounding the pulpit here.
I'll tell y'all something. Just a minute.
Let's see here.
Why don't you come over here, Art, again, you can figure it out.
I guess right now.
There, it's just us.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good.
All right. I'm gonna tell this on Stanley, he's not here, but if y'all notice Stanley's playing, he gets most of his notes out of 2, maybe 3 fingers, okay? Years ago, there was this documentary that John Hartford was hosting it and was asking Bill Monroe questions about his playing. And so, Bill he started getting a little bit testy because he just didn't, I guess he's getting tired of answering questions. So finally, John asked him, he said, Mr. Bill, how come you don't use that little finger? And Monroe snapped back at him. He said, because I don't need it. And when I've seen Stanley's one of those guys that don't need that little finger.
I ain't breathing, I'm just taking this back. Okay.
All right, let me grab on. This is what happens when you retire and get old.
I guess you know you stole my stool, but that's all right.
Well, here.
That's okay, I can do it. You're older than I am, you sit there.
Well, age will give you.
Okay, let's go.
1, 2, 3.
Let's get together.
1, 2, 3.
Like old times you were here last night, and gone were my sorrows and cares. Just like old times you were gone, and I had dreamed of an old love affair. I was alone in the darkness, my dear. Many dreams ago you left me there. Sunlight told me you were gone, and I had dreamed of an old love affair. Life's been so empty since you've been gone. I love you with all of my heart. Heaven was mine when you smiled last night and said we could make a new start. I was alone in the darkness, my dear. Many dreams ago you left me there. Sunlight told me you were gone, and I had dreamed of an old love affair. Had dreamed of an old love affair.
We're gonna pick, oh no, me and him, we'll pick together in Arkansas.
It's a D2.
Diesel D? Yeah.
Oh, the brambles took the cabin I was born in, and the briars reclaimed the fields I used to plow. There's a yearning in my heart to be going to that 40-acre patch God sowed the sprouts. Arkansas, the river's still flowing, it's a cotton growing, white as snow. All the squirrels still barking up on old Crowley's ridge as the girl that I was sparking gone and burned another bridge. Arkansas, Arkansas. I have known the troubles I was born to know.
talked
That's
Alabama
it.
earlier
Yeah.
this one. It's a song I like a lot. It reminds me of growing up. We had this big trestle. We used to walk going to school every day, and many times I stood under that trestle and watched a big steam engine up against the sky.
I remember.
That is a pretty sight to see. That smoke a roll and that big engine up there roaring across that trestle. And undoubtedly, the guy who wrote this song saw the same thing.
First thing.
You guys ready? Greenville Trestle High.
1, 2,
I remember as a boy how that wonderment of joy. I'd watch the trains as they rolled by, and the whistler's lonesome sound you could hear for miles around as they rolled across the Greenville Trestle Line. Now the vessels don't sound like they used to. Lately, not many trains go by. Hard times across the land, ain't no word for a railroad man. And the Greenville Trestle now don't seem so high. On the riverbank I stand with a cane pole in my hand, watching trains pierce the sky, with the black smoke blowing by as they move along the track. The train that runs across the trestle line. Now the train don't sound like it used to. Lately, not many trains go by. Hard times across the land, ain't no word for a railroad man. And the Greenville Trestle now don't seem so high. When the lonesome whistles whine, I get rambling on my mind. I wish they still sounded that way. As I turn and head for home, Lord, you tremble low and moan on the sunset at the break of day. Now the whistles don't sound like they used to. Lately, not many trains go by. Hard times across the land, ain't no word for a railroad man. And the Greenville Trestle now don't seem so high. And the Greenville Trestle now don't seem so high.
You're gonna keep rapping it along right there, the same key you have. Mr. Harvey. Rapping in the law.
By the way, I don't know if you've introduced him or not, but the man on the banjo here is Mr. Harvey Mays. I kind of watched him grow up. He picked when he was born. I think they give him a banjo in a bottle when he was born.
Good technique.
beneath my door. I'm going down the track with chicken on my back, soles in my shoes and nearly gone. Up the road at the head, there's an old farmer's shed. That's where I rest my weary bones. Weary bones, weary bones. That's where I rest my weary bones. Up the road at the head, there's an old farmer's shed. That's where I rest my weary bones. I'll build me a barn and roast that old hare, roll in the coals good and brown. I'll feast every night by the moon shining bright. Find me a place to lie down, to lie down, to lie down. I'll find me a place to lie down. I'll feast every night by the moon shining bright. Find me a place to lie down. All right. Stay there for about 3 more songs there. In my memory there's a picture of the face so dear to me, loving arm that used to hold me as I sat on mother's knee. No one here on earth could make her. All the things in life she gave. Now she's gone, but I'll remember a pretty wreath for mother's grave. She was fond of pretty flowers. I recall she used to say, when I'm gone, son, please remember a pretty wreath for mother's grave. She had a little row of flowers that she used to watch each day. She fixed them just before God called her, so they would not fade away. Next year they'll bloom again in beauty, red and blue, so bright and gay. If it
Well, he's open. Let's see. If I do that ace in the hole now, and D, you want to play, I don't know which you want to play it over. Okay.
We're gonna turn out and lose one of his style now. You know,
Just got that good and fast.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna take it on second. Well, you got to have an ace in the hole. The secret that nobody knows. In life is a gamble, a game we all play. You got to say something for a rainy day. Yeah, you got to learn to play your card right. If you expect to win in life, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, you got to have an ace in the hole. Daddy. If you're headed down a one-way street and you're not sure that's the way you want to go, in money or in love or all of the above, just have a little more than you show. Well, when life deals you out a surprise, have a few surprises of your own. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, you got to have an ace in the hole. Harvey May. Yeah, you got to have an ace in the hole. The secret that nobody knows. Well, life is a gamble, a game we all play. You got to say something for a rainy day. Yeah, you got to learn to play your cards right. If you expect to win in life, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, you got to have an ace in the hole. Wow, yeah, you got to have an ace in the hole. Try to wake y'all up on that note. Now we're back at F.
there's not a possible sleep in this field tonight. You woke them all up. This is the song I like. It tells a good story about a mother.
Angels rejoice, man.
About a mother trying to get her
We're gonna start
husband
out
straightened
singing.
out on the right track, which happens so often with us men. We need a woman sometimes to straighten us out. It's called The Angels Rejoice.
A house, not a home, was a picture Satan painted for sweet little sister and me. Our daddy would frown while mother was praying. His heart was so hardened that he would not believe. And anger he'd swear, his voice cold and loud. His son
he was smiling and singing with tears in his eyes, while Mother with the angels rejoiced last night. While Mother with the angels rejoiced last night. Okay, we up in C now. See, it's that one you're gonna pick off, the Lonesome Wind Blues. Getting it right here.
I've been trying to sing like that. Just get those things.
I hear the wind. I hear the wind is blowing through the lonesome pine, and I know my love is gone too. I hear the wind is blowing through the lonesome pine. That's why I'm blue, love so blue. She's gone so far away, that's why I'm grieving. She left me here alone on the tree, where all that I have left is just a memory, and it always haunts me with the breeze. I hear the wind blowing through the lonesome pine, and I know my love is gone too. I hear the wind blowing through the lonesome pine. That's why I'm blue, love so I'll leave today to try and find my daughter. I don't know where on earth she could be. I only know that I can't live without her. Each night in dreams, her face is all I see. I hear the wind blowing through the lonesome pine, and I know my love is gone too. I hear the wind blowing through the lonesome pine. That's why I'm blue, love so blue. That's why I'm blue, love so blue. That's why I'm blue, love so blue. Old book of mine.
You know, this guy here, he's got all kinds of funny little sayings. You never know when he's gonna pull one on you.
Old book of mine.
He was telling me, he said, did you know Castro played the fiddle? I said, no. I said, Castro, as far as I know, didn't play the fiddle. He said, why do you think they called him Fiddlin' Castro? And he said something else. He said, did you ever notice a chicken? He said, no matter how much weight they gain, their face stays the same.
They never show it in the face.
What are you doing?
We're doing the old book of mine. Daddy's gonna kick us off at E.
Just wait a minute.
Oh, it's double time. Okay, sorry. One,
I am thinking today in my book of the past
Each page that I turn seems to make my heart yearn for the love I'm gonna share with you. In this old lookout line, many verses I find that you wrote in the sweet long in my heart there's regret. Please forgive and forget and rewrite all the pages for me. I go back to the time I was called to mind. Oh, how happy the sweet long ago. Each page that I turn seems to make my heart yearn for the love I'm gonna share with you. For the love I'm gonna share with you.
Don't do that.
Whatever you want to do. G?
Gee, you knock us off, kick us off one.
Da da dee dee dee
You can tell another joke.
I used to take you in my arms and close to me. I used to tell you how I cared, how happy we could be. But someone else is on your heart and knocking at your door, and I'll never get to hold you in my arms anymore. I tried a million times more to forget about the past, but to me it seemed your memories are the ones that always last. I'll lie awake and cry for you and some nights walk alone, but I never get to hold you in my arms anymore. Go! I'll step aside and give you up, although it makes me blue. You'll never know how much it hurt to see him holding you. I'll always care and always love you just as before, but I never get to hold you in my heart anymore.
Marvin's got to tell y'all a joke, because I forgot my kazoo. Gotta run and get that. Be right back.
Yeah, tell them about that eagle you showed me.
It's almost over, y'all. Almost over.
All right, we got, is this one more? We got a big finale, is that what we got going on? One more. One more. All right, so I'll tell you this important story. Happened to a fella down in South Carolina. He had a bunch of chickens, and it got to be this bald eagle that was living down there that kept coming and getting his chickens. So one time he had enough of it, so he got a shotgun and waited for that eagle, and when it came from one of his chickens, he shot it. Well, it wasn't no time at all till he got turned in. Somebody reported that he had shot that bald eagle. And of course, the law came and picked him up, took him to jail, and he got before the judge. And the judge said, buddy, he said, what in the world were you thinking, shooting that bald eagle? He said, well, he said, he was getting my chickens. He said, there's nothing but a big chicken hawk. And he said, I shot him, And he said, well, you can't do that. That's against the law. And he said, what did you do with that eagle after you shot that eagle? He said, I cooked him up. He said, we had him for dinner. He said, you're telling me that you eat a bald eagle? He said, yes, sir, we did. He said, just out of curiosity, he said, what did he taste like? He said, tasted just like a whooping crane.
Okay, here's the one you've been waiting on. We're gonna close it out. This Alan's gonna do his favorite rock song. It's his trademark. Everybody calls him Bill Bailey. They don't call him Alan. So here he is with Bill Bailey.
Well, now, come on, me Betty, won't you come home? She moaned the whole night long. I'll do the cooking, honey, I'll pay the rent. I know I done you wrong. Yeah, that rainy, I'll do you out with nothing but a fine tooth comb. I know I'm to blame. Ain't it a shame, Miss Betty, won't you please come home?
You got Robert to blame for everything.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks to Danny and Harvey for helping us out.
That's a good one, yeah, but I'll send it.